Most girls' plan is meet a guy, love, have a baby.
But I don't know if I have what it takes for everybody's regular plan.
Son.
I have some disturbing news.
What?
I'll wait till you get here.
Tell me.
They are going to indict you.
George? How are you?
Good to see you.
Yeah. George, this is my boyfriend, Maddie.
Nice to meet you. Who is he?
You didn't even say hello.
Yeah, I think you ought to check with me before you invite some guy over, so I'm a little too pissed off to just say hello. I think I screwed up. Not from my perspective.
Taxi?
No, I just have to figure out where I'm going.
No, Leon, Paul Rudd, it's so sweet. You know, how could anybody want to hurt a guy like that?
I would never want to hurt him until I saw this movie.
Wow.
And now I might punch him in the face
Really?
and say, dude, don't ever do this again.
That's funny because that's what I want to do to Reese Witherspoon.
But both of them, you know what? I'd knock their heads together like coconuts.
What the hell is wrong with you? Numbskulls?
Owen Wilson just for being hanging around.
Wow. So you really love this movie then?
Oh, yeah.
To be fair, Owen Wilson has a couple slaps coming.
Yeah, he's old. Just a couple?
It's funny because every movie I talk about how I just find Owen Wilson annoying. Not as much this time.
Really? He's the one saving grace of how do you know?
I hate the saving grace. He was just like a minor character in a movie where your two lead characters were just like, wow. Yeah. I think I despise these two people.
He was kind of like the dumb dog in this movie.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
he was a device more than anything else.
You like me yet? You like me?
Yeah,
I despise him the least. Please don't try to kill yourself again, Owen.
This movie should have been called like How It Really Sucks to Be a Nice Guy.
Well, you know what? See, okay, here we go back to my whole thing. What my one of my pet peeves, like how I get mad at the Jason Biggs character, is like it's not simply just being a nice guy; it's being a nice dumb guy. A guy is like, it's one thing to be nice. You could be nice, but you gotta be stupid too.
A schmuck.
Or be a schmuck or somebody who just like lets like life and everybody roll over you. But letting people roll over you is not being nice. That's just being a nebbit.
Yeah,
that's being a fraidy cat in your own life.
See, I guess, I don't know. You know me. You know how I am towards when chicks come in and just give the nice guy a hard time. So I was really hating on Reese Witherspoon in this movie, man. She's a waffler, you know. I mean,
you're right, and that's what I hated about it.
I guess we should go ahead and tell people what this movie's about. I mean, look, it's a James L. Brooks movie, so I was expecting a little bit more from this.
Well, it's a James L. Brooks movie that's advertising Jack Nicholson because the two of them work together.
As good as it gets.
They put up, as good as it gets. Something's got to give. Oh, maybe that wasn't
his movie. No, so look at you. You got it wrong already. You love this movie,
but you see this, you go like, oh, good. It's going to be another one of those. It's end of the year. Jack Nicholson is barely in this movie. The posters and the trailers don't tell you that. So listen to your old Uncle Leon.
Yeah, no,
you're going expecting you to see a Jack Nicholson movie.
No, this leans more on the side of his other movie, Spanglish. Whereas, like a lot of people, again, where Adam Sandler played a nice guy with Téa Leoni, who she did him wrong, but except here we got just a lot more unlikable characters. And I can see what you're saying. There's a lot to not like about Paul Rudd, but Reese Witherspoon was the one that really got on my nerves. In the movie, she's a pro athlete. She's a pro softball player. Right. She's 31, so the coach at the beginning just like, that bitch is old. I don't need her. But everybody's like, she's been in the Olympics. She's great. She's the best player on the team. It's like, 31, out.
Throughout that whole scene, I was scratching my head going, there are pro softball teams out there? Really?
It depends on how you define pro. There are pro Magic the Gathering teams out there.
None of this shit on NBC.
But there's the thing, like, you know what? Unless they're playing in bikinis, I don't think they're going to make any money.
Yeah, I think
ESPN running a special right now.
At the end of the game, they get a free hot dog and send them all on the way home. That's it.
They show it on ESPN 14.
But yeah, so she doesn't
go on and do chin sharpening commercials.
See, I was gonna leave her alone, man, because I think Reese Witherspoon is cute. You know,
she is cute. She's got a sharp edge.
Cute is a button that you want to be careful when you're kissing.
You can stick her chin in the ground and spin her like a dreidel.
That is true. You could put her chin on a record and open her mouth, and you get some sounds. You know, but I ain't gonna talk about it because I think she's kind of hot. But so she doesn't get her free hot dog and $5. They kick her out the softball team, and so she's kind of going through. Now I can kind of understand why she's a waffler, because at this point, her whole world is thrown off kilter. And she doesn't know what to do. She's lost. She's having to take a job she didn't want. Things look like they're going pretty good when she meets another pro athlete, a professional baseball player. This guy is played by Owen Wilson. Guy pitches a 96 mile per hour fastball, makes $14 million a year. She's like, oh, well, life's about to turn around. But the guy's an athlete. He's an asshole. Now, and one of those guys who's like not an asshole on purpose. He's just clueless, kind of spoiled by his professional life. And
no one will
It's a product of his life.
No one will tell him he's being a dick because he's famous and rich.
He's like the dumb girl who's really smart, but she doesn't get a chance to be smart because she gets by better on like her looks and nobody challenges her.
And, and let's make it also clear, he's not a straight up asshole where he's assholish in every encounter. He's very enthusiastic and he's happy. He just likes things his way. I mean, he's just used to things a certain way. If you want to get with that, go with it. Have a good time.
Yeah.
If not, then don't be with him. It's that simple.
Well, that's what throws her off. She's like, well, hey, maybe it doesn't get any better than this. Maybe I want to deal with this. Maybe I don't. But what are my choices here? Well, Paul Rudd comes along. He's introduced to us as a corporate guy, the son of a bigger corporate guy played by Jack Nicholson. And we don't know why, but somehow he's in trouble by the law because, well, if you know all that stock trading shit and business stuff, then so he's in trouble for that. Anyway, something happened that was illegal within this corporation, and he's catching the rap. He's got fired. Father can't save him.
Yeah,
he's so in trouble.
Yeah, the FBI is investigating him.
Yeah, and Dad just say, hey, you're my son, but I can't talk to you right now. You go home and call me in the next month.
Look, son, it either had to be you or me, and it wasn't gonna be me.
So that means you. But at this point, his girlfriend just broke up with him because he's in trouble. He got nothing going for him. He's got to sell all his shit so he can afford a good lawyer. But he's still kind of keeping it up. And he meets this girl who is clearly not interested in him from the very beginning, but he's for some reason think that this is the girl of his life, and he goes after her against all odds. So what we have here is Reese Witherspoon. She's caught in the middle. Should I go for this guy who's kind of sweet but dorky and just a little overbearing, or should I go for this asshole who, granted, makes a lot of money? And what I don't like here is that this is a romantic comedy. A romantic comedy is only as good as your central plot, the romance, the love triangle, whatever it is. And it doesn't work for me because Reese Witherspoon, while she should be the person you feel for her the most, she treats these two guys, just blows them off on a whim, whatever's not working for her. Oh, you know what? I got into an argument with Owen Wilson. I'm just going to walk out and go over to this other guy's house who's clearly interested in me, but I'm just going to shut my legs and tell him we're a friend and make him have even bigger blue balls. So, I didn't like that about her.
You know what? To me, it was like watching a movie with 3 or 4 characters who all seem to be in a completely different movie. Like their interactions with each other, it's like they were talking at each other, but never interacting the way people would interact. Paul Rudd, he goes out with her. It's a bad date, and he falls madly in love. She is the girl he has to have. And if you were to ask him why, it's not like he could give you an answer. You hated her. Everybody hates her, and she does nothing to redeem herself to make her somebody you could see like, man, I would so pursue that girl.
Why are these characters pursuing her in the first place? What does she have that's special enough?
And it's good you say that because throughout the whole movie, that's what I was wondering. I was wondering, what is the attraction? Why are these people attracted to each other? Even though it seems like they're all pretty self-aware of their predicament and who they are, but they're making all these ridiculous choices that isn't helping them around, down the road. It's like, why is Reese Witherspoon even giving 2 shits to interact with these characters who obviously at least one of them doesn't really give a shit. He's living his life, but obviously that's not what she's about. And you got Paul Rudd, who's kind of just a guy who he just happens to be at every other place she happens to go. And it's
one of those films where it's only in a movie like this you get small things which turns people's worlds around. It would never happen in real life. For Owen Wilson, it's just one thing that Reese Witherspoon said that made him say, oh, you're the girl of my dreams. It was one dinner where they never talked for Paul Rudd, where he's like, wow, that was really good for me not talking at dinner. this girl is the girl of my dreams, and it's like, really, that's it. That's what But I was granted.
Exaggerating.
No, I'm not, and I was going to let that slide a little bit because in the beginning, I like Reese Witherspoon as an actress. I really do. I think she was great in this film, but it's just her character that I really dislike because as the movie goes along, well, I felt very sorry for her in the beginning of the film. But even understanding what she's going through, it takes a lot for me to like want to root for somebody like Owen Wilson in the movie because this is a guy that has everything. It does a lot for me to feel bad for him for the way that she just kind of on a whim just decides to walk out on him in the middle of big functions that he held for her.
It's not simply her walking out on him. She walks out on him to go to Paul Rudd, very much in front of him. Hang out at Paul Rudd's house, like you said, give him blue balls. It's so obvious he's in love with her, and to him, love is the extent of his love is like, well, the key to love is to just sit and listen to whatever she has to say and just smile.
That might be the key to a successful marriage.
But it's never
It's different, though.
Like she doesn't fulfill any of his needs at all, other than unless he's on the rebound, he's got a need to worship somebody. And these characters, they get into this situation and they go around in circles, trading back and forth, but none of the relationships progress. I mean, he's almost stalkerish with her. There's no way any girl would put up with it unless she was just such an attention whore. Mm-hmm. And they go around in circles, and like nobody ends up in a place different than where they are, other than the script says like, okay, well now y'all got to be.
Well,
together.
here's the deal. It's not very romantic what she's doing. It's all about, and look, it's a lot of these things aren't meant to be totally romantic. It's meant to be there for comedic subplots too, and I think some of those work, but what it's just frustrating seeing this girl who's not so much in a love triangle and just a triangle of convenience. It's like whatever person is suiting my needs at the moment, that's what I'm going to go back and forth to. That happens in real life. I know that's what real life is like, but I'm watching a romantic comedy where that is the majority of the romance here.
You were saying earlier what the key to romantic comedy is, and I don't agree with you. It's the story. I mean, there are great romantic comedies with tired, overly familiar stories. I think the key is the characters being likable. And if you don't like your characters, then there's no way you can save that.
Well, when I say story, I am talking about you have so many things that you can do with. I mean, there's only so many things you can do with a romantic comedy these days, and I'm not the kind of guy to get mad at them because they don't do something different. I'm going to expecting the same thing, just like I would any kind of genre.
You just want the trappings to be.
But like I said, it's all about your characters. You really have to care about your characters. I didn't care about any of these people.
Yeah,
really.
you don't give two shits about any of these characters because they're all making stupid. They're like if you had a friend that was making dumb decisions like these characters, you'd go and tell them. I guess maybe these characters didn't have good enough friends to go. Why do you keep going back to this guy who really doesn't have like 2 cents in his fucking brain and doesn't give two shits about you? I mean, he's obviously giving you the hint. He's fucking around, but you keep going back because why? I mean, what is this really doing for you? And the whole Paul Rudd character, he just seems like he's just there when he's not around. That guy is definitely going to be there, so she can run to him and just hang out with him for a while, and he's just going to be like, all right, thanks a lot, buddy. And
well, it is kind of hard to watch him try so hard. I mean, everything that she says, she comes in and she's just like, I like Guinness. You want a Guinness? I'll go and get a Guinness. He's running across the street. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna get you a Guinness. He's almost getting hit by cars trying to get a Guinness. He crashes the door, jump on it like a great day. I got you some Guinness. Got you some Guinness. You like that? Get off me, man.
And you feel embarrassed for him. You're like, man, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, we just said
he's a fucking man.
He's pussy whooped. He ain't even got the pussy yet.
The only good head he's getting is on his Guinness.
It's on that Guinness. That's good, man.
You like one of my puns, huh?
That was a good one. That ain't no pun.
Yes, it is.
That was a joke.
That's a pun.
We'll call it a joke for right now. But the thing is, this is a romantic comedy. There was no romance and there was no comedy.
Thank you.
The comedy was fucking atrocious. They were trying way too hard with characters stumbling downstairs, slipping on banana peels. I mean, it was that bad. And I was like, okay, wow. Characters trying to make jokes that just seem like they were just trying way too hard to get a joke. It annoyed me, and it really made me really hate this movie. It's just there's a bunch of characters I just didn't care for. I didn't care about the story. I didn't like these awkward subplots that were going on, especially with the whole FBI investigation. That takes a whole nother turn where you're like, okay, what's the main point of this movie?
Okay,
like,
up until
where is all this boiling down to? Like,
up until your speech right here that you just said, it sounded. If I didn't know you were reviewing a movie, I would have thought y'all were just talking shit about some girl. It sounded like, yeah, we all know this girl. We all know a girl. We know girls just like.
Well,
this
notice that we're also
character.
talking about all the other guys too.
I would tell you, like, as much as goddamn, Reese Witherspoon's character is unlikable.
Yeah.
I disliked so much more about this movie other than her. Like, my dislike for her is much smaller than my dislike for Paul Rudd's character.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Girls like that in real life attract guys like that. So it sounds like it sounds reasonably realistic what you're describing.
Yes. No. The setup, sure.
Yeah.
But the way it plays out.
It's not fun to watch.
It's not fun to watch. It's not even realistic. It's like things wouldn't go that way. A girl like that, there's a point where like there's conversations that should be happening that aren't. And as co-host brings up, Paul Rudd, he's like a combination between Matt Perry and Hugh Grant. Every time he talks, he's stuttering. When there's nothing else going on, bang your head on the table, trip over something. Just throw in some slapstick. Just do anything. It's like, can't write me some dialogue. Yeah, we could, but if just bang your head on the wall.
Yeah, or if they had actually made something more appealing for her, Reese Witherspoon, about Owen Wilson in the movie. I mean, Owen Wilson is, he's close to being so spoiled that he's almost moronic with this relationship. If there was something there that you would believe in that would that was enticing to Reese Witherspoon, I mean, she's spending her whole time with him rolling her eyes. And it's like, well, there's nothing there to really trick me into thinking that you want to go back to this guy. It seems like I'm just going back to this guy just because, well, this is the guy I'm supposed to go back to in the movie until I change my mind. I will say this, though. Let me just say this before I get into some of the things I like, because I did like some things. I also found some of the filmmaking awkward because, and I know James L. Brooks is, like I said, I liked Spanglish when it wasn't getting that many good reviews. I really like Adam Sandler.
I like Spanglish, too.
Yeah, I did, too. I mean, I like James L. Brooks. I love As Good As It Gets, but this movie seems like he was really in love with his actors in some scenes and didn't want to cut when things were getting old. There's a scene where Paul Rudd is supposed to be drunk, and this is just a pet peeve of mine. When actors are supposed to portray themselves as drunk and a director doesn't edit their performance, they just let them play it out because they think it's funny. But it's kind of it hits a point where it's not funny, and they don't cut it. I mean, he's sitting there singing into a lamp, and it looks like he's saying, I'm supposed to play drunk, and James L. Brooks just says, oh, he's improvising. It's so funny to me that I'm going to let it just play out. And that was kind of awkward. And there's a lot of moments in that, a lot of slapstick moments with Paul Rudd, which I don't think is his fault. It's just a matter of, this should have been edited. I really do like Paul Rudd in this movie, though. I like Paul Rudd. I like Owen Wilson. I mean, I'm not saying I like them as characters. I like Paul Rudd because I think he made me laugh a lot. Owen Wilson had a lot of good lines that made me laugh. And even, like I said, there were certain parts where Owen Wilson and Reese Witherspoon together were funny because that relationship was just so awkward.
How you doing, Tom?
Maddie, I might have to go back on what I said about finally seeing your place tonight. I just have a lot on my mind right now, and
Okay, you sure?
Well, no.
There's no pressure. It should feel right.
That's nice.
Thanks.
Why are you moving away?
I want to give you room to think and decide.
You have all the signs of a handful.
I hope so.
I don't hate the movie. I think that it's actually really good for not even. Let me change it. Not even really good. I think it's a low matinee, even for people who are really into romantic comedies. But for me, this was pretty much a good rental, but no more than that for myself.
Creating a new category now. Now there's good rental. Is that higher or lower than high rental?
I'm different. I don't like to keep using high and low. I'm going for something else now. No, a good rental.
This one is a stream.
So you're that guy who never knows what he wants on the menu?
No, I told you what
He's
I
the guy
want.
who orders off the menu.
This soup looks good. I want
Can I
some
have
good
that
soup.
without tomatoes?
I know exactly what I want. That's the
On the
problem.
menu, sir, is what you get.
I know that's not on the menu, but I'd like a chicken cordon bleu.
Oh, you know what? And there were certain scenes where, I mean, it's Jack Nicholson. He's always going to have some lines that are good. And I like seeing and I understood why Paul Rudd was so befuddled in this movie. I mean, it's a guy that, you know, the government's coming down on him. His dad is just verbally abusive. So I understood the pressure he was going through. I kind of understood everybody's position in here. It's just I didn't like it as a whole. So,
well, I mean, it's easy for me to understand a setup. It's just what they do with it and how everybody reacts to it. And nobody reacted realistically to anything, so it was hard to attach myself to any of it. And yeah, I'd be hard pressed to find anything I liked about this movie. I didn't hate Owen Wilson. Matter of fact, his character to me made the most sense. It made sense why he would be into Reese Witherspoon, because he was into her only so much, in as much as how she worked within his life. And when she worked within his life, he was all right, or he wanted to beat the other guy. But her going back to him made no sense. But rather than beat that dead horse, this movie had a budget of $100 million. And I just don't understand where that money went.
Actors are expensive these days.
I know. Reese Witherspoon was $15 million. Owen Wilson was 10. Paul Rudd was about 3.
When's the last time when's the last time you bought a fresh actor? You know how expensive those things are?
You got to grab them and squeeze them right around the stem to tell how fresh it is, because otherwise you get back and they're just brown.
The thing is, I do like or love plenty of romantic comedies.
I'm sorry, my Paul Rudd has turned to Will Smith. Can I return this?
Seriously, did you see The Pursuit of Happiness? I'm not eating this, Hector.
Bottom line, really, the biggest death knell of all, the thing that I just haven't come out and said, is that this movie is boring. It just goes on and on. You drift in and out of it. There's plots that are important at first, and then they just go away. Mm-hmm. Some of them might come back later when you go like, oh yeah, I forgot this was a part of it. And some just go away and just never come back.
Yeah, you're great. Yeah.
And just, characters you don't like, boring, not funny. I couldn't see any reason to see this. This is, what do you give it? like right when I'm about to say, I give this a. So what do you give it?
God damn it!
He's hanging on your every
over here.
The suspense.
I know I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, and I'd give it a. So host, what do you give it?
I'll tell you later.
No, I give it.
I give it a fuck you guys.
I give it a low rental.
Go low rental. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm going to give this some old bullshit.
I was saving that for you.
This was a fucking mess. This really was. There's characters I didn't care about. I felt like I was a fly on the wall looking at idiots that, I'm just like, there was no character that I like. Besides, Owen Wilson was great because he is a product of his environment. I get that. But I still didn't care. There's nobody in this nobody in this movie I was rooting for. Any of the characters. Jack Nicholson was the only okay spot in this movie, just because when he was acting like a dick, I laughed sometimes. But other than that, yeah, the filmmaking on this film is the worst I've seen in a long time. I thought Resident Evil was a bad film as far as just technically, as far as technical problems with the film. This movie had pan and scan type shit going on to where two characters talking. I guess they forgot to put a camera on Witherspoon's face, like a close-up, and you just see this awkward, pan and scan to her eyes, and I'm just like, who fucking directed
was this made
again?
Live?
That's what it looked like. I've seen fucking soap operas look better than this movie, but overall, you're absolutely right, Leon. This movie was fucking boring. The fucking Lifestyle Channel has more interesting shit going on than this movie did, and I did not care for it at all.
You know what, co-host? You just convinced me. It's some old bullshit.
Well, do y'all watch the Lifestyle Channel a lot?
I know. Together they do.
How do you know it's better than the Lifestyle Channel?
You spend $1 at Redbox for this shit?
And I tell you something. It wasn't a completely heartless film. This movie had some heart, but probably with the wrong people. Because it was people who were very, very much side characters, and that was Catherine Hahn and Lenny Venito.
They were so side characters. They were in a different state. Her character come at the beginning she's gonna be important, and they just forget about her until the movie's an hour and a half into it. They bring her back for this one scene.
She was no more important than the guy who gave me popcorn.
Catherine Hahn. You probably recognize she was on Saturday Night Live, right?
No, I think so.
Okay. She's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
you'd recognize. Yeah, that's what she was in. The Goods. Yeah. Got a very small role, but man, they had a role. They had a scene in there where she was about to give birth, and the guy. That's right. Yeah, apparently the scene ain't got that much heart because I can't even remember it. So forget about it. No, she gave birth, and the husband comes in, or the guy who she wants him to be her husband comes in to propose, and the way he's just pouring his heart out to her, and she's there crying, got this new baby there. And I was looking at this scene and I was like, wow, this is really emotional for me. I'm really liking this scene. I wish this could be a bigger part of the film. Why can't I see these two people? Why can't I see their relationship? Now that's a real romance there.
That's the problem, and that's the problem with the movie, because those two seem like the only one who had any kind of real common sense throughout the whole movie. But I was pissed off thinking, oh, is this where the director remembered to go, hey, what the fuck is the point of this whole movie? Let me write it down. Hey, here, guys, read these lines real quick, and this will sum up what the whole movie is about.
Yeah.
And the other characters can listen and go, oh yeah,
well,
that's what we're all about.
Yeah, man, we get a
for about 3 minutes.
Well, that's the thing. We get like a real romance right there. Something that's beautiful.
Something with some meat.
Yeah. And then we got to hang out with the rest of these assholes after like 3 minutes. But you know what, man? Listen, I see what you're saying.
Can't even fuck right.
It's frustrating when you see that and you go back to the rest of these characters. Because the more I think about it, I mean, the anger I get at Reese Witherspoon, I'm thinking about scenes where, like, she comes to his house. And she gets drunk. She's letting him touch her leg. They're looking eye to eye. I mean, they're just about to kiss. And then she gets a call from Owen Wilson. And she just pretty much lifts up her skirt, puts her vagina in front of Paul Rudd's face, and is like, I got to go back to my boyfriend. See what you missing right here?
You actually hear it snap shut.
Yeah. Clang. I mean,
I say fuck Paul Rudd because he knew what he was getting into.
No, man, he didn't deserve that.
He knew she had a boyfriend.
I mean,
Dracula can't come into your house unless you invite him.
You do understand why Corey doesn't see the point here, right?
No,
he doesn't
man,
understand.
it ain't.
So what? She a boyfriend? So what? I mean, come on.
I was waiting for Reese Witherspoon to go, hey, do you mind making me a drink on the way out here?
I mean, she's pretty much rubbing her breast and her ass in front of his face and just kind of like, but we can be friends, right?
If there was a reverse, there was some fat chick, and you mentioned how you were parched, and she ran across the street to get you a Guinness, almost got hit by a car, you know that you would flirt with her all the time to get her to pay your rent, your electric bill, without giving her nothing.
I think we all know that with Guinness involved, I would have nailed that chick.
That's true. I was going to say, what are you talking about? She would totally get laid.
Where did you miss the fact that alcohol was involved?
And if that chick would have left, he would have nailed the Guinness bottle.
She would have turned into Reese Witherspoon after one, I believe.
You got a chin like Reese Witherspoon.
I would have done her chin.
No, you need that chin to open the bottle.
Reese, I didn't say that. I told you. I just said you played a record. I didn't go that far with it.
She has a beautiful heart.
Sorry. I wrote something out that I want to say to you. I went nuts when you left. I broke a lamp.
Okay, read me the thing.
That was the thing.
I'm gonna be